The gimbal is the same as the other videos playing. We could charge the phone.
No, you can't do that because it gotta be on the gimbal.
Is it starting?
No, it's already recording.
Oh, I keep forgetting. That's the app. Okay, just set up. Alright.
So, after watching that, what thoughts does it spark?
It sparked a couple thoughts. I'm just organizing my thoughts. Sorry for the awkward silence. So how about I just start saying them and let them reveal themselves even more. First thought I'm thinking is integrity, and why I'm so big on integrity and why it matters to me on many levels, like integrity with myself and with others. Because when Jordan was like, if I ask you to embark on this journey with me and you agree, I don't want you to agree because you felt like agreeing was the easier thing to do, you know? So that's like being integral in that moment, being honest with yourself and honest enough to express that with your partner. Because, yeah, I feel like what he was saying is like a commonality that I've seen on the outside looking in on different relationships. It's like, well, I didn't really want to even do that for real. I did it for you, you know? Like, and I get the notion of doing something for somebody, but if this is something that is like you have to involve yourself in actively, like you are embarking on this thing with them, you should definitely make sure that it makes sense for you too. And I would emphasize that especially for like younger couples or younger people getting into these relationships, because the time that we're in our lives are very vital and detrimental times. They're not the ending and not the only times. I'm not saying that if you don't get certain things done in this time, your life just is over, it sucks. But this is a very like beautiful and highly charged time to get shit done. And getting shit done in the sense of developing who you are, creating a foundation for yourself and then your future family if you choose to go that route. So it's like you don't want to just involve yourself in something prematurely or without really considering not just you in this moment, but you in the future moment. How is this thing going to affect my life? And am I going to be okay and happy with the reflection that I'm seeing, you know? That's one of the things that makes me think about up front. Definitely. And like especially emphasis on young people, and not just young people. I'm a woman, so I'm always going to speak from a woman's perspective. Young women, because in a lot of our traditional monogamous relationship types and structures, the man is a leader. Not saying that, you know, he's your dictator, tyrant, or boss, but usually the man is usually the leader of the household. So his standards now become your standards and the standards of your family too. So if he's a man who does this at this level and you do this at this level or this level, it's going to create some type of imbalance, and that's okay. But is this imbalance, are you willing to match this person that you've now decided to lead you in a relationship and lead you in life? And not saying that you don't have your own fruition, you don't have your own mind and all these other things, but we have to think about the structures at play when it comes to these relationships. These are just questions to ask yourself, because it's like I've seen a lot of young women just get into relationships and be swooped and carried away by the man and his leadership styles, lack of, or his having of. So that's kind of how I feel about that first part. Anything to say on that, or?
No, I agree with what you said. Yeah, I agree with what you said.
My other thoughts. Oh, I mean, he basically talked about the thing that once I learned this lesson, I've kept it with me, and Kush is the one who honestly taught me this lesson, or at least taught it to me consciously. And it's the notion that, you know, it's not just about getting the thing done. It's like, what is the end result that I want, you know? Like, so when it comes to communicating with my person or any person, what do I want the end result? What would be my favorable end result of this situation? So now I'm catering the conversation to hopefully get to that end result. What do you mean by that? Sounds like you're being manipulative. Duh, we're all manipulative. Everything we do is manipulation. It's just how you perceive the word manipulation. So it's just like, if I'm having a conversation with, let's say Kush. I'm having a conversation with Kush. I don't need to be loud. I don't need to get my voice doesn't need to be louder to be able to effectively communicate with this person. That actually does not work for this person, right? So now that I'm conscious of that, I need to formulate and figure out how can I convey the message that I'm trying to get across to this person in a way that is articulate and concise, that they can understand what I'm saying, without compromising myself in a way that is not right. And I say in a way that's not right with emphasis in a way that's not right, because compromise is necessary. Let's say I was mad and the first thing I did want to do was yell. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to compromise that feeling for the for the end goal, you know? That this feeling is smaller than what I want in the end. So I'm okay with compromising this thing in order to get to what I want. So I feel like that was effective. Understanding not only your communication styles, but the person whom you're speaking to's communication styles. And we don't always have that privilege. Maybe you're speaking with a stranger, someone you don't know. So that's why you need to understand your communication styles, and not just that, but human psychology, like across the board. As a person, don't you want to be a person who understands people, you know? And I'm not saying go fucking read a textbook about it, but I'm saying learn basic cues, basic communication cues, basic emotional cues, have fucking common sense and common decency. And I feel like in a world where like it's so extremely right and it's so extremely left, and being a part of Gen Z, you know, we tend to fall more on the liberal sense of things. And so when I'm saying have common decency and common sense, it's kind of hard for our generation to stand on a common place, because liberals are so anti-tradition, so anti-foundational things at times. What common ground can we come to? That was another random spiel. But yeah, let's have some common sense and common fucking decency in our day-to-day interactions with not only ourselves, but people in this world, people that we know and don't know. But we were talking about relationships. That was a good one. Because even when he was like, I know myself. If someone starts pointing their finger at me, it sparks. It's fight or flight. Naturally, rightfully so. That is a defense mechanism. You're attacking me. But now it's like, that's when we have to use our human brain and not just our chimp brain to override everything that's happening sometimes. But it's like, if you know that that's your tendency, then you need to be able to put systems and structures in place to be able to navigate in a way that is progressive and functional for you. If you know the minute somebody points their finger at you, your body is gonna... There's things that you need to do to work on that, like maybe doing some subconscious analysis. What does that make me feel? Why do I do that? Now, bring some conscious analysis. Do you want to change that about yourself, or do you not? I'm not faulting it, but let's just bring awareness to the forefront. Because once I know you're aware of your actions, it's a different conversation. It's a different reaction and response towards you, you know? But being aware of these things, because I know me, I said it in his last episode, don't tell me I did something that I didn't do, you know, and don't tell me I can and cannot do something that I know that a 100 and a million% I motherfucking can do. That's just my person type, and me saying that's default. So now I have to, do I want to keep that as a part of me? How much? How little? When do I want to show it? When don't I want to show it? But I have to be accountable of that. I know that of myself, to be like, nah man, not me. That would just, who you lying to? I ain't lying about yourself. That's how I feel about that.
I think an important thing for people to realize too is like it really does start with awareness, because like even now after you've heard this, or this paradox or phenomenon has been brought to your attention, it's like, what do you do with that information? How do you catch the leaf in the wind, sort of say, like, as it's happening, you know what I mean, and not reacting or seeing yourself a day later, 2 days later, like, what are the exercises or reps that you put in place consciously, to the best of your ability, of course, so that muscle, that awareness for when these things are taking place, and you have the opportunity to implement a better way of doing things, or a more healthy way of doing things. Like, I guess could be the next thing, like awareness as a superpower. That's a real thing. Something that's not talked about, like awareness, and then practically, like, pragmatically, how do you become more aware?
You practice it.
Right.
You practice it, and even when you're practicing it, you're practicing it. And when you forget, you start practicing it again. Honestly. It's a practice. It's a continual thing. I don't just be mindful for 24 hours. I'm now the most mindful bitch in the world.
That's what I was about to say. Like, when you get more into like the actual,
it's continual practice. Practicality
of it. It's like you're not just, let me watch every move I make or every thought I think for 24 hours. It's not realistic. I think what started to help me was like when I started to feel friction or something is bothering me, and I might not notice in the first 5 minutes, but at least after 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes go by, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not in the state I want to be in. That's obvious.
Right.
But it's like, okay, why? Let's assess what caused it, and then let's assess what in my past is this speaking to or triggering, and then now let's start to come up with and parse through what a healthy with a healthy way of dealing with this type of friction would be for me moving forward. Because again, how it may look for someone else may not be your situation or environment, so you definitely want to tailor it. But those three things in the moment is my version of the rep for sure. And I don't know. I think that's a pretty good place to start. It's definitely helped.
But what I'm about to say is literally a testament to what I'm about to say. When he started talking, he had said something. He posed a question, and when people pose questions to me, I can't help it. My subconscious is gonna start answering it fast. But I had to move it to the side and try my best to remember my point while he was making his point. And so as his point is wrapping up, and I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot my point. But I was like, and then it came back to me, right? He had asked the question, like, how do you practice being more, like, how do you be more aware? And I think a big one is what I just did, slowing down and taking a breath. I think that helps you be more aware. And because it's like, you did this, and I don't like that. If you don't take that moment, look, to go like this, that was a release. Everything they just threw on you, you literally just released it, right? But if you don't, you just did this, blah, 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 blah. And you in that same, you coming back, that is the energy going like this. The same shit. But if you're like, you take a moment to literally breathe, and now you're present.
And then that's reactive.
Now I'm grounded. Now I'm aware. Now I can respond. Mm-hmm. I took a second to slow down. If you take that breath, it's detrimental. It's literally you're letting your brain get some air real quick before you do what you do. Before
it
finalizes the ignition.
Ooh, that the body sends.
Yeah.
That the body sends.
The breath is the reset.
We've all heard it.
That's what it
Trauma
is.
lives in the body.
Yeah.
And the breath, I think, is the connection between our deep, what was this, solar plexus, whatever you want to call it, the chakras, as it's coming up through the windpipes and all of that. It's literally the connection between all of this bodily that we hold on to, the gut. What did you teach me all about the gut? Those feelings as we... all of that is trying to.
It's a momentary reset.
Literally, by the time it comes up here, this is where you choose to either transmute that energy. So when it hits your brain and then your mouth responds, it's either going to choose react or respond. And based off of what you do right here, whether you actually stop it right here and you're taking the conscious, versus they saying all this shit and
You just immediately.
there was no breath. That shit
guess
just
what?
stayed in you.
And guess what?
It never left.
They just manipulated your energy and took power over you.
Ooh, on a biological level, huh?
And a spiritual level.
On a biological.
I didn't even give myself time to react. You chose my reaction for me just now.
Mm-hmm.
I
could have chose,
you
but
just wrote
I
this whole
acted like I
story
had none. So pretty much it was to the outsider looking in. You just dictated everything.
Where's the self-control?
And most of the time.